You won't believe how fast admiration can turn into distance in Hollywood. One moment, you're surrounded by legends. The next, you're quietly stepping away, deciding who you'll never stand beside again. For Kevin Costner, that line was crossed more than once. For decades, he was seen as the steady presence, the dependable leading man, the guy who kept his head down while chaos swirled around him. But behind that calm image, Costner was taking notes. And years later, he finally made peace with a hard truth. Not everyone in the spotlight deserves forgiveness. This isn't a story about petty rivalries or ego clashes. It's about boundaries, about what happens when professionalism meets volatility and refuses to bend. Now, let's talk about the people Costner chose to walk away from. Kevin Costner. Before diving into the conflicts, it matters who Costner is at his core. He built his career on discipline, preparation, and respect for the people around him. He believes a film set should function like a well-run workplace, not an emotional war zone. That belief shaped every decision he made and every relationship he quietly ended. Marlon Brando. The first name is also the biggest. Marlon Brando wasn't just an icon, he was a force of nature. And that's exactly why Costner kept his distance. Long before they ever shared a project, Costner heard the stories. On Apocalypse Now, Brando reportedly arrived massively overweight, rejected costumes, refused to learn lines, and demanded script changes mid-production. Director Francis Ford Coppola had to rewrite the ending while managing daily meltdowns. Crew members watched pages of dialogue tossed aside like trash. Years later, on the score, Brando publicly mocked director Frank Oz, repeatedly calling him Miss Piggy and refusing direction. For Costner, that behavior wasn't genius, it was destruction disguised as talent. He didn't fear Brando's acting, he rejected the chaos that followed him. Hollywood kept making excuses. Costner simply stepped away. Madonna? This one didn't take a film set or a long history. It took less than a minute. In 1990, backstage at a concert, Costner paid Madonna a simple compliment. Your show was neat, polite, harmless, respectful. Moments later, unaware he was being filmed, Madonna mocked him to her documentary crew, gagging and declaring that anyone who described her show that way didn't belong there. The footage later appeared in theaters worldwide. Costner never clapped back publicly, but when asked about her later, he offered a rare, icy assessment. He didn't care for her. For someone as restrained as Costner, that said everything. The lesson stuck: kindness can still be weaponized. Bruce Willis? Costner never needed to work with Bruce Willis to decide he wouldn't. By the late 80 seconds and 90 seconds, Willis had developed a reputation that traveled fast. On Moonlighting, clashes with co-stars stalled production. Directors complained he refused coverage. Crew members described sudden walk-offs and explosive tempers. The final nail came years later when Costner heard about a set incident involving smashed props and a chilling brag. "They can't fire me." That mindset crossed Costner's personal line. To him, intimidation wasn't strength, it was immaturity. When opportunities to collaborate came up, Costner declined every time, not out of fear, but out of principle. Alec Baldwin. With Alec Baldwin, the issue wasn't talent, it was control. In 2007, Baldwin's furious voicemail to his young daughter made headlines. Costner was reportedly stunned, asking how a parent could speak that way to their own child. That moment changed how he viewed Baldwin entirely. Over the years, the headlines kept coming: altercations with photographers, volatile behavior, and tense working environments that crew members quietly warned others about. To Costner, a set should never feel like a minefield. Each new incident reinforced his belief that Baldwin was someone he didn't want near his professional world. Robert Duvall. This one hurt the most. Costner deeply admired Robert Duvall long before they worked together on Open Range. But admiration didn't survive the power struggle that followed. Problems began with billing disputes. Duvall reportedly refused second position on promotional materials and made it clear he didn't intend to follow Costner's direction, even though Costner was the director. That attitude carried on to set. When Costner offered minor notes during rehearsal, Duvall pushed back loudly in front of the crew. They finished the film professionally, and the performances were strong, but something essential was lost: trust. Costner never invited Duvall to collaborate again, not out of revenge, but because respect can't be negotiated once it's gone. Oliver Stone. Working with Oliver Stone on JFK pushed Costner to his philosophical limit. Stone wanted to tell a bold story. Costner wanted responsibility. As the film leaned harder into conspiracy, Costner questioned scenes that suggested certainty without evidence. Stone famously argued that audiences cared more about truth than facts. Costner disagreed, especially when dealing with a national tragedy. Arguments became routine. Script meetings turned heated. Production slowed as debates spilled into shooting days. Costner finished the film and supported it publicly, but privately, he was shaken. To him, Stone represented a dangerous willingness to reshape reality to fit an agenda. They never worked together again. So what does all of this really mean? Kevin Costner didn't label these people evil out of bitterness. He simply drew lines. He chose stability over spectacle, respect over reputation. In an industry that rewards excess, he decided that peace mattered more than proximity to power. Now it's your turn. Do you think Costner was protecting his values or avoiding difficult brilliance? Were these stars misunderstood or enabled for too long? Drop your thoughts below. And if you want more stories that peel back Hollywood's polished surface, make sure you stick around. Like it, share it, and don't forget to come back for the next one.